So if I had the chance to start over, what would I do? Today we're going to talk about 3 things I wish I did and put more focus on early on in my journey. Now, some of you might already be in the game for about a year plus and still have not put your focus on these things. So let's talk about it. Number one is backtesting. Now, one thing I felt like I did correctly was I used backtesting to train my eye to spot things, right? So a lot of people will do backtesting early on and use bar replay. I personally pulled up a bunch of different pairs and just trained my eye to see, turning points in the market. Why did price decide to move here? Why did price bounce off of this area and not this area? And kind of put everything together and see, once I was able to analyze the chart, and I will also look at those turning points in the market to see how would I be able to jump in and catch this trade. Would I have caught this trade, or would I have missed the trade? And if I would have missed the trade, how would I find a second entry point to catch the rest of this move? So one thing I felt like I did correctly was I would just go back in time instead of bar replay. I would just go back in time just to and look at all those turning points that happens in the market as far as market structure, higher highs, higher lows. Oh, why did price bounce off of here and created a lower high here? And why did price TP here instead of over here? And all of that, right? And how would I be able to catch these swing moves from the top to the bottom, or catching in between? Now, the one thing I wish I did differently was I did not backtest long enough. I did train my eye to see things, which was great, but I didn't backtest a strategy long enough, right? I say that because I bounced around different strategies. And for me, what I wish I would have done is, taken about anywhere between 50 to 100 trades with one strategy just to see how that strategy worked, get the analytics, and kind of go from there and tweak a couple things. And that's what I wish I would have done. A lot of people will backtest. They'll backtest for a week. They'll backtest a strategy for a week, and then, oh, it doesn't work. Let me go try something else. Like, no, backtest. Take trades. Get a good chunk of trades in, and then see if that strategy is good for you or not. If you like that strategy, or if it's too complicated, or the win rate is not that great, or maybe the win rate is not that great, but you like the strategy and you understand it. Maybe you could tweak a few things, and then you start playing around with it. But you need to get a good sample size when you're backtesting, not just backtesting for a week or a day or whatever the case may be. Get a real decent sample size, and then you can go from there, right? So for example, I would backtest on the weekends, and then I would try that stuff out during the week when the market was open. And then let's say, for example, I had a good week, right, with that strategy that I was testing. And then the following week after that, I would have more losses. Then I would be like, okay, maybe this strategy is not what I need. So I would start changing stuff and not sticking to, that strategy long enough to see if that strategy is going to work out in the long run, right? So you need a big sample size. That's one big thing I wish I would have done differently, and take anywhere between 50 to 100 trades with that one strategy, and then see how well it does. Tweak it to however way you want to do it. If you don't like it, you think it's too complicated, then you can, start looking for something else. But at least give it some time, because I feel like there's a lot of strategies that work out here, but a lot of people don't backtest long enough to find out how well it works, and so on. So they're always ready to go on to the next thing, right? So I think that's one thing I would have done differently with backtesting, is I would have put more, I would have gave myself a bigger sample size when I was trading a strategy. So number 2 is a trade management plan. Now, everybody already knows about a trading plan, right? Like technicals and all that stuff and all the steps you got to do to break down the charts, but you need also a trade management plan. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your trading strategy is. If you do not have a good trade management plan, it's not really going to work out, right? So your strategy is only as good as your trade management. That's it. Because at the end of the day, the only thing you can control is your trade management. That's it. You only can control the buy and sell button, your stop loss, where you place your stop loss, where you place your TP, and your lot size. That's it. Because at the end of the day, you can have 2 identical setups, and you could win the first one and lose the second one, and they both look identically the same. So at the end of the day, make sure that this is one of the things that you put your focus on heavily, because that's where it's going to make a difference. And even with confirmations, right? You might have a setup that you take and you wait for 3, 4 confirmations to enter. Let's say, for example, you have a strategy where price pulls back into your, strong level of resistance. You have, MACD crossover, RSI overbought, moving average cross, bearish engulfing candle, and you sell, right? And then what happens? You take that sell and you win, right? And it drops off and you win. And then you have, another setup coming in, the same thing. Price comes into resistance. You got MACD, moving average cross, RSI overbought, bearish engulfing pattern, and then you lose, right? So understand that the only thing you can do is stick to your trading plan, right? Whatever your trading plan is, as far as technicals, putting fundamentals together, whatever the case may be. Then sticking to a trade management plan, right? Because that's what's gonna kind of bring you over the top and make you have those small losses, big wins. Because at the end of the day, losses are going to come, right? You don't know when they're going to happen. Losses are going to happen here, there, everywhere, right? Same thing with wins. So, don't focus too much on the win rate. Yes, having a high win rate is, amazing, but understand that win rates are going to vary every week, every month, every year, right? So your win rates are going to change because the market's just like that. Now, the only thing you can control is your trade management and you sticking to your plan and being disciplined to your plan. That's the only thing you can focus on. And that's one of the things I wish I would have focused on early on. And it wouldn't have taken me 3 years to get my first withdrawal of $100, right? Now, number 3 is psychology. Now, you can go about it a bunch of different ways. You can listen to books, you can watch YouTube videos, you can listen to podcasts and a bunch of different stuff, right? Read Trading in the Zone, all these types of books that are out there. But at the end of the day, the only way you're going to practice your psychology in real time is by trading a live account, right? Now, what I would do is put in, a small amount of money on a live account. It could be $50, $100, $200, $1,000, whatever the case may be. My first account was $75. Now, what I went wrong is I try to flip that $75. I have that mentality where, I can flip this 75 to 200, then I'll bring this 200 to 1,000, then 1,000 to 5,000, and that 5,000 to 10. Now I can start actually making some money, bringing some money in. No, that was the wrong mindset. When you have a small account, don't worry about the money. Focus on the skill. Work on your skills. Work on bettering your skills, staying disciplined to your trading strategy. And that's where you can practice your psychology, right? Because when it comes down to money, real money, your psychology is going to be all over the place. And that's where you can practice and be disciplined to your trading strategy while you're trading real money. Even though it's a small account, you're still going to go through that psychology process at the end of the day, right? Because a lot of people, can make money on demo accounts, but when they go to live accounts, they can't do it. You'll see a lot of traders can grow a demo account from 10,000 to 100,000 in a month or whatever the case may be. But once they put in $100, $1,000 in the account, they blow it within the first week, right? So once you're ready and you see your account is growing because you're so disciplined and your trade management is great and you're following your trading strategy to a T, then, once your account starts growing, then you can start putting some money in once you start getting that confidence and that discipline in your trading, right? And then you go from there. So as far as right now, that's pretty much what I wish I would have done. Those are really the key 3 things. I think that's going to take your trading to the next level. And I wish I would have done that earlier because, it wouldn't have taken me so long, right? So yeah, guys, number 1 is back testing. Give yourself a big enough sample size, whatever strategy you're learning. Take about 50 to 100 trades and kind of go from there, right? If you like the strategy, you stick with it and you could tweak a couple things if you want to do that and then go from there and then start, focusing on everything else. Number 2 is creating a trade management plan. When you have a good trade management plan, you're sticking to those rules, your strategy is going to work a lot better. So understand that your strategy is only as good as your trade management. So make sure that you have that trade management plan and stick to it. Number 3 is psychology. Now, when you start trading a live account, you're going to see psychology is going to come into play. but that's where you're going to focus on staying disciplined, right? If you can stay disciplined to your trade management plan, to your trading strategy, you'll be fine. But that's where you're going to build, that skill of staying disciplined and having control of yourself and just trusting your strategy and your analysis and kind of go from there. But that's pretty much it, guys. Those are the three things I wish I would have kind of focused on more often in my journey. And even if you guys have been trading for a while and still have not focused on these things, these are the three things that are going to kind of give you that switch and kind of bring your trading to the next level. So, guys, that's pretty much what I have for today. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.